the globe. Good evening, River West, Milwaukee, and possibly the globe. Welcome to Compose Yourself with Julie Brandenburg. This is a talk show about local music as well as a radio workshop for songwriters and composers. We are broadcasting from the River West Film and Video Headquarters on Center Street in the heart of beautiful downtown River West. Each week I will have a panel of songwriters, composers, students, and listeners here to share songs and discuss the craft of songwriting and composing. With me today in the studio is Jacob Mushin, bass player for the Freddie Lee Band, Spencer Powers, the drummer of Shroud of Despondency, Emily Zimmer, guitarist for the Freddie Lee Band, and today's special guest is Marge Eisman, singer, songwriter, jack of all trades, and the mother of Jacob Mushin. Great job.
That may be my great claim to fame.
I think so. I think you
Your
did.
mom's here.
All right. Let's start off the show today with a cut from the Secret Society of Starfish's new album, Dark Reflection from the Water's Edge. And the song is called Breathe. You're listening to riverwestradio.com, and that was Breathe by Secret Society of Starfish. So, what do you guys think of the song?
Very progressive. I dig the heaviness.
Yeah, the guitar playing really had some heaviness to it. Pinch harmonics and a lot of triplets. They kept it mostly in 4/4, but they were playing some dissonant harmonies.
That breakdown with the piano and everything. Wow. A lot of totally different rhythms coming together right there.
Yeah, that when the piano popped in, like right from the intro and all throughout the rest of the song, the piano part interluded like that totally sounded like the band Dream Theater to me. And I know Dream Theater is like the most popular prog and heavy metal type genre mix-up band there is out there.
Definitely, and Pablo Sepulveda is the lead singer, so he's got that kind of sound. I personally think that in some ways he has more control over his voice, especially live, than Labrie. I hate to say something like that, but honestly, I've seen the guy. Okay, full disclaimer, I did give him some lessons at MATC, but he already walked in with a lot of skill. I just gave him some tips, but he really kind of knew what he was doing very well when he walked in the door. But I just feel like he has better pitch and better control, and live he's just really, really strong. And on this album, we also heard Dave Berkowitz on the bass guitar, and he sometimes plays the Chapman stick. Chris Vincent played drums. Jeff Conko played the keyboard and that lovely piano part that we heard in the middle. Very cool. Mm-hmm. Joe Kopecki, he is a legend. What a guitar player. He has a lot of history in the area. He played with a trio, his brothers, called simply Kopecki. And unfortunately, one of the brothers passed away due to childhood diabetes. So that was a very tragic day for the Milwaukee music scene as well as, of course, for the family. And he will be missed. And also, Joe's brother plays in Angie's band, who plays in my cello, which is Dan Maskey's band. So that's Far Corner. So we've got a lot of history together, all of us.
Musicians, one big incestual family.
Yeah. So,
I'm not sure you're supposed to say that when I'm sitting with Jacob in the same.
Oh, you're the one who went there. That was not me.
Oh,
see, now we
get
know.
along
Okay,
perfectly
now
with
does
us.
everybody, listeners who have been listening to this show and know Jacob, okay, now do you get it? You see?
sure.
March. So glad you guys liked this tune. I want to take a moment.
Yeah, I really enjoyed his vocals too.
Yeah.
That was a surprise for me because that is not my genre, and so I was listening like, the drive of it I got, but when I was surprised by how lyrical his vocals were.
Yes. You were expecting some growling, and then all of a sudden he starts singing.
Yes.
Yeah, it still sounded like progressive rock more than it sounded like anything else. The guy playing bass when I saw him live the last time was playing a 9-string bass actually, and it was tuned just like a 4-string bass in perfect fourths all the way, just from an F sharp like an octave and a half below an E, all the way, and then all the way up in perfect fourths, and it was quite impressive. He didn't, you can't really use all of that at one time, but just being able to have that much range is a pretty cool thing.
Definitely. So you'll have to check them out. I know that they have a Reverb Nation page, and they have a Facebook page, and they're very prolific online, and it's easy to obtain their music. I believe Reverb Nation probably is the way to go with that. So let us continue with our show. We did the River West 24 this weekend. That was a blast. Wow.
Yeah.
And right here, I have to tell our listeners what took place right here on this stage that we are sitting on in the studio at the fabulous facilities at the River West Film and Video Store. They had a checkpoint. So when you do the River West 24, you don't just go around in laps. You get bonus points for doing what they call bonus checkpoints, which are places to either do silly things, which I will explain in a moment, and sometimes meaningful things. One of the bonus checkpoints is you went to the Children's Outing Association and you voted for them to help them raise some money for $30,000 for their campaign to get the most votes. So they're competing.
Right, and they are. I talked to Tom Schneider, who's the executive director, and he said when they win, he's going to give like $1,000 to each of the teen programs to decide what they want to do with that money. So it's not just going to the organization, but the kids are going to get, they've been out there, because you can vote once on Facebook every day and once by texting every day.
You can.
So you can double your voting power for COA. I think it's Liberty Mutual is giving the money away.
Okay.
So go to the COA.org page, and there will be a link there. You can find it.
Good information. Thank you, Marge.
Can
Yeah,
either
She knows everyone.
Can either of you give our listeners a description of what the COA is?
Oh my gosh, yes. COA, Children's Outing Association, founded over 100 years ago, was designed to give inner city kids an outdoor experience. And to this day, they run a fabulous summer camp program, but it's expanded to be children's and youth programming and family programming. They have what's called HIPPY, Home Instruction for Preschool Youth, and it is parenting education for young parents or new parents in their household and at COA. And they also do Skyline Music every Tuesday night on the hill with
Really?
the best
That's them,
view
huh?
of the city. And it's a free outdoor music summer thing. At the end of the summer, they're going to dedicate their new... They've raised the money for a band shell and
No kidding.
some better landscaping on the hill.
That's going to be awesome.
Totally
Wow.
awesome. So this is it's a wonderful, wonderful organization, well worth supporting. And if you need support in any aspect of family life, family parenting, they're a great resource too.
That is really great to know. This ties back with the original discussion about the River West 24 and how it's a community-oriented event. I would not have had any real reason to step foot into that building had I not wanted to get my bonus checkpoints.
There you go.
And I went in there and I thought it was really cool that I got to vote. And then I got to make a little picture that was sort of an encouraging sort of picture that was going to be made into a large quilt with all these quotes from all the writers on, successful adulthood, as if I'm an expert, but
Hey, you made it this far.
I made it this far. So at any rate, that was awesome. So some of the checkpoints were actually meaningful like that. I know Fratney School did one too. I'm sure that had some meaning. I thought somebody said that you had to bag mulch or something and then they would raise money. I'm not sure what that was. But the one that was here was hilarious. Okay. They got 9 people on the stage, including the leader, and the leader looked kind of dressed up a little bit like a cross between Father Guido Sarducci from the old Saturday Night Live days and Frank Zappa. He had this fake mustache on and this Hawaiian shirt. And he led the group in a rousing rendition of Smoke on the Water.
But just the chorus of Smoke on the Water.
Just the chorus.
Over and over and over again for several minutes.
This poor man. I mean, we were going crazy having to listen to it outside and then participate in it for several minutes. This poor man.
Spend a whole day.
No, thankfully. I don't think he would be alive
Only
to
2 hours.
talk about it. 2 hours straight of the chorus of Smoke on the Water.
Yeah,
Yep.
even I know that one.
So I got to play drums, and what was really special is the bass player had stepped away for a moment, and with her absence, the leader said, "Well, we're just going to have to wait a minute here until we can start again." And I pointed at Jacob. I said, "He can play it." And the leader said, "Oh, okay." And so Jacob just picked up that bass and made it happen.
The Smoke on the Water is one of those riffs that a lot of people learn right at the beginning of playing. So I've actually learned that whole song, but all I had to do was play the chorus, so it wasn't too bad.
Wait a minute. Can we play that on the virtual guitar?
Yeah. Here you go.
Only 7 seconds of it, though.
Okay, so for our listeners who can't see,
Sure, I mean,
Marge has her iPod. And
iPad.
I have the iPod. She has the iPad. And Emily is attempting to play Smoke on the Water using the guitar application on her iPad.
Oh, I don't.
And she's looking mighty cool
I'll do it
doing
if you want.
All I know is the riff. I don't know the
Well, you can
Well-
hand it over to Jacob. He's offering.
Well, while
He's-
they figure
All you
this
can
out.
play is chords on it, though.
Oh no.
While they figure this out, I have to,
No?
once again thank the River West 24 people for their incredible organization of just a fantastic community event. I got to visit area businesses I might not have seen, like the People's Books, which was really, really a nice space that I'd not seen before.
They actually just moved their location from the east side, close to Maryland Street on Locust, right to where they are now,
Yeah, yeah.
like a week ago.
Right, and the place looks beautiful. It really looks great. You know, I've been in the place on Maryland, and I've always liked it, but this is really a fantastic space. So if you get a chance to stop by the People's Books, it's great. Awesome. So how are we doing there on Smoke on the Water on the iPad? It seems like this idea
don't
is
know.
fizzling out. I think it's about time for shameless, self, promotion, shun.
We've been missing the kazoo, man.
Oh man, it feels so good to have that kazoo back on the show. Thank you so much, Spencer.
Definitely.
Ah, yeah, that's just what we needed. So, this week's shameless self-promotion is in honor of our show on Friday, which is at the Why Not 3. It's our monthly first Friday of the month gig, and there are these two dogs in the studio right now that are so unbelievably, ridiculously adorable. I'm getting
It's not
distracted.
fair.
It's just so not fair. They're tiny. They're so cute. Okay, I'll stop going on and on about that. But we are playing on Friday.
How
and-
late are you playing this time, Julie?
Well,
We don't really know
yeah,
yet.
Like 11, but
Probably
but-
11.
Beats us.
Yeah, but we do have a wonderful warm-up opening act. It's John Litke of Shroud of Despondency.
John Midnight Lid Key, right?
Oh,
Isn't it?
this is
Midnight.
yes. What have you heard this yet, Spencer? I'm sure you have.
I have not. John has been over a year now. John's been wanting to put together a blues album with a whole plethora of local Milwaukee musicians backing him because different musicians bring different strengths to the table and what have you. And he just wanted to. So this is the first set of a bunch of collaborations to come, and he's testing out musicians and songs, and just having a good time playing the blues.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is awesome. I can't wait. So he's going at about 9:30.
That's the idea.
Yeah, and then we'll let him do his thing, and when he's done, then we go on. So, gonna be there, Marge?
I'm gonna be at
Oh, that's right.
in New Jersey on the ocean. So sorry.
Oh,
Oh, you
I
poor
have
thing.
to go to the beach tomorrow.
oh, that's so great.
I know you're all feeling bad for me.
No, that's
No,
fabulous.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just land in the right place.
So this is a job?
Yeah, this is what I would call a working vacation. I'm going to help a friend's mom who just had a little stroke. And I'm going to get to live in her gorgeous home on the beach
Wow.
and do some cooking, but mostly do some encouraging.
Yeah.
Make sure she knows there's still reasons to get up in the morning. And
There's good money in the motivational speaker business.
I've been doing it a lot of years.
Yeah.
And this is an interesting twist. This is almost like my yacht job last year. Only instead
I
of
thought
working
it
for one
was.
family
Yeah.
for teaching a child, this time I'm working with a senior adult.
Yeah.
But
Making
same
a
idea.
little, just spending a little time having fun and helping someone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all good. And
Yeah.
getting paid.
Oh, and getting paid. I wasn't sure about that part. So I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
gonna say
All good.
It's
That is
all
great.
good.
Great
And
plan.
my temp job lets me come back to it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Great.
So
So we're going to play a little bit of the Freddie Lee Band and promoting our show for Friday. And this is a song that is off the Here's Your Hat, Man. I was putting the pause in there. Here's Your Hat, comma, Man. And the song is called Tell Me What You Feel.
fun, it felt so nice. And for the years have gone by, forever you entice. I just wanted you to know about the way that I still feel. You got my heart, my soul, my body, babe, and you know my love is real. I might be off the wall. Take this side trip down memory lane, but I'm desperately trying to say I love you. Please don't leave it, baby, or I'll go insane. Forgive this stupid man. You know I love you with every little piece I can. You know I love you with every little piece of my heart. You know I'd go insane if never we should part. If you give it down, forgive this stupid man. You know I love you. I'll be doing the best that I can. You know I love you with every little piece of my heart. You know I'd go insane if never we should part. Oh, hell yeah. Do you know what you feel? I know you know what you know.
Tell me what you feel on riverwestradio.com. You're listening to Compose Yourself with Julie Brandenburg, and that was shameless self-promotion of the Freddie Lee Band. We're playing Friday at the Why Not 3 with John Litke. Hope you can make it. So I want to play another song by one of my favorite local bands from the past, and he does have new music. I'm specifically speaking of band leader Chris Ortiz. He's a bass player and wonderful singer. I even had him come in and do a demonstration of safe screaming for some of my male students so they could hear it from a different perspective other than mine. But the band's name is Zolotl, and I'm going to play a cut that is called Alone. listening to RiverWestRadio.com. The song we just heard was Alone by the band Zalotl. The album is the 2003 The Lines to Our Minds CD. And this band is no longer happening, but I contacted Chris Ortiz, the band leader, who wrote that song we just heard. And he is going to be sending me some brand new music from his new band. So I'm very excited about that. Hopefully we'll get to listen to that next week.
And Julie, how do you spell Zalotl?
Well, that is a very good question because I couldn't even figure out how to pronounce it until he told me like 10 times. Xolotl. Zalotl. It's very cool. His brother is an artist and did the cover art, which is one of the things I always really liked about that group of people, the very creative group. I believe his sister is also a painter, the Ortizes. They're very creative
Cool.
people. Love the song. What do you guys
Talented
think?
family.
Yeah, that was an awesome song. That bassist was ripping it the whole time. What's the technical term for the actual action of picking? It's not, when you pick and like fast picking is
With
like,
your- you mean with
using
your fingers?
legato. No,
Shredding.
not the pluck. There's that, yeah. I don't know. He just, I could tell the bassist was playing with a pick and he was just
Oh, yeah.
running the whole time though.
Yes, he was.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He was playing the bass a lot like it was a guitar.
Yeah.
The bass and the drums had kind of a thrash feel to it, but even though the song overall
yeah.
was pretty progressive sounding. The guitar player was definitely shredding, though. I mean, that was excellent use of a wah-wah pedal and crazy technical proficiency, honestly. A little bit of sweet picking here and there, but mostly just a lot of meedly hammer-ons and pull-offs.
That's a great way to
Yeah.
describe it. I was looking for that word thrash, I think is what I was thinking, but couldn't.
The
Get
rhythm
out,
section
you know?
was totally thrash. It had a little bit of the 70s metal feel to it, but way more of the 80s thrash feel.
It reminded me a little bit of Ahab's Ghost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I also thought you have to drive fast when you're listening to that song in your car. You can't not drive fast.
It's
You
not a
know?
walking song, it's a jogging song.
A sprinting song.
No.
Yeah.
If you want a speed walking song or whatever, go to Muzak or something.
There you go.
Marge, thoughts?
No, I was impressed. I'm impressed by, the virtuosity. Because it's not music that I normally listen to either. So, cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Chris is quite proficient, as you were pointing, as all of us were pointing out. The band that I saw last was at Locust Street Days. It's Magnetic Minds. It was just him playing the bass with a lot of effects and singing and a drummer. That was it. Now, was it an 8-string bass? How many strings?
He
were on
was
that
playing a
bass?
6-string bass, and he was playing it with the pick, and he was playing it basically like it was actually a guitar. He was playing a lot of chords, 3, 4, 5-string chords, which is pretty unusual for a bass.
Well, and he's playing a lot of complex patterns while singing something completely independent, which is always a challenge. It's a split brain thing, as Marge, I'm sure you know, because you kind of do.
And doing a
do that.
bass is ridiculous too. Anyone, Paul McCartney or Les Claypool or whoever you want to look at, Geddy Lee, that's just unbelievable to try and sing like that and play like that.
Absolutely.
See, I just cheat by sticking the bass fills in between the lyrics.
But you have to keep playing. That's why it doesn't.
So, but I can keep playing on, 1 or 2 notes and,
I could sing while play, but all of it would all sound like the same thing. Like my singing would sound like the riff and
Well, yeah, that's how I sing. Exactly. If the song has the vocal syncopation the exact same as the bass line, then I can sing and play. Absolutely.
Hey,
It's
yeah.
just when I have to try to sing in a different place than I have to play, it never works out well.
you can end up in some silly places when you keep wanting to have, at least from my perspective, when you keep wanting to have the guitar rhythm be the same as the rhythm of the lyrics, you can end up in some strange places,
It's terrible.
embarrassing places, and
It gets a little limericky.
Especially with rock and roll
Entertaining,
lyrics.
though, because I grew up playing show tunes, so I grew up reading sheet music and playing along, and so I'm not sure what you guys are talking about. What do you mean you don't play and sing and mean, you're supposed
Well,
to.
Julie and
have
Emily
music.
can play and sing. Spencer and I just don't.
Oh, okay.
I'll just play the drums.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now, Marge, you are an exceptionally good sight reader. I have to say, she outdoes me. We were sitting down and just trading off spots. Now, I can improvise and read chords. I'm fine with that. I can sight read, but not at tempo like you can. You play all the notes and you're at tempo. I'm really impressed with that. It's
Thank
pretty
you.
impressive.
It was early training. But what happened for me is that I found music was a visual thing until I started writing my own music. And then it became a whole heart and soul and body and ears and
Heart
not
and Soul.
just
That's the first
eyes.
song I learned to play on the piano.
Yes, I
But
taught you, hon.
So,
We can play that on the virtual piano.
Yes, that one we got. We haven't sorted out the guitar string thing, but
So yeah, I mean, I came at things just the opposite of you. So I started playing by ear, and I did all classical music and everything by ear. My teacher would play, and then I would play, and then he would play, and I would play. They didn't know I wasn't reading the notes.
oh my
I didn't
God.
know I was supposed to be reading the notes. I thought the notes were up there as a guide in case you got stuck. Seriously.
A reference point.
Well, and then I tried to hide it because I didn't want to get in trouble, which I did anyways. But yes, then I went back and learned to read notes, and I can read notes.
I was even kind of a different way of it happening than that. I was taught to read music long before I actually really attempted to play any music. I had learned to sight read for being in choir, and I had sort of tried to pick up a saxophone and a keyboard when I was a little kid, but I never really practiced it at all. And when I actually started playing, I had completely lost the idea of trying to read music, so I had to go back and learn it all by ear. And then now I'm kind of going back and learning to read the stuff that I've already learned by ear, because it's just a good skill to have.
Well, and you know your theory, forward and backwards. You're
Well,
really pretty sharp with that.
But being able to write the sheet music and then being able to read it is two different things.
Right, right. Awesome. So let's listen to something completely different than that still, and that would be the band Lovanova. Paul Kniever's band. There's quite a few members of the band that I know from this recording. I know Jeff Hamilton, and I know Joey Carini, and I know Dave Shepke. I've played with Jeff and Dave, and I believe Aaron from school, Aaron Gardner, plays sax on one of these tunes. We're going to listen to a tune off their recent album from 2010 called Day 4 of 9, but the song that we're going to listen to is called Twistin' in the Wind. You're listening to Lovanova on riverwestradio.com. And this is from their 2010 album, Day 4 of 9. It was called Alone. Alone. No, it was called Twisted in the Wind. The previous one was called Alone. What do you guys think?
I absolutely loved the sound of the Hammond organ.
Yeah.
Awesome. I was
Yeah,
getting
you
some
can't beat
really
that
wild
classic.
tones. Yeah.
It's a solid big rock ending.
Uh-huh.
You know, he drags that Hammond organ out to their shows. He takes the whole organ to a show.
Yeah. Really?
Yep, he does.
It's awesome. You gotta.
Yeah.
He just wants to hear the girlies say, "My, that's a big organ."
Ba-dum-bum.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
I also liked the funk drumming that was going on. It sounded totally like the exact drum beat of this Meters song. And
Oh yeah, that was straight out of Motown. Absolutely. It was
definitely.
the bass and drums were definitely that from the Funk Brothers. That was what I was thinking of too. I was thinking maybe a Marvin Gaye tune or something like that. But that was
Yeah, Dave's a very good drummer. I worked with him for a couple of months for a while, a couple years ago. And I know he gives lessons. I believe he does that through Brass Bell. I'm not sure. So if you wanted to look up Dave Shepke for any reason, he's on Facebook. But Lovanova also is on Reverb Nation. And again, you can find them pretty easily by doing a search for them. So love the funky, kind of jazzy, kind of hard to describe instrumental jams. So we're getting a beautiful view here.
Yeah, we just got the moonrise over River West. Wow. It's a full moon, and we just crested over the rooftop of the duplex across the way.
Wow.
Quite beautiful.
Ah, yes. So, let's move on to one of our favorite segments. It's our quiz for the week. Love that kazoo. You have obviously been practicing.
hours and hours of every day.
Actually, we didn't tell you because we didn't want to announce this, but the reason Spencer wasn't here wasn't because he was working. It was because he went to Tibet to study with a guru the ancient ways of the kazoo. And I can really hear the training in your playing this week.
I was either carrying buckets of water or playing that kazoo.
sometimes both.
Yes.
Ah.
Often both.
And when you went up there, he said, "If you can play the kazoo solo better than me, I will bow down and call you master."
There were many a duel that I lost.
Ah. You're young. You have time.
It was like
must
Kill
go
Bill,
back.
only with kazoos.
Wow. The picture that's putting in my head.
So, American, you come to learn kazoo? Pretty much. Moving right along.
What kind of a spandex jumpsuit would you have to wear to be a really good kazoo master?
I don't know, except I know that it would be very colorful.
Yes.
A
would
lot
have
of
to be.
patterns.
All right. Here's our first question. What musical instrument's sales escalated from 228,000 in 1950 to 2.3 million in 1971? Ah, the two guitarists in the panel are both waving their hands, pick me, in unison. 1, 2, 3.
Guitar,
Well, my answer was going to be more specific than that.
acoustic guitar.
I don't know.
electric
I
guitar.
didn't know if you were looking for a specific answer.
Were you going to say something like starts with a F, ends with a Ender
Fender?
Stratocaster?
No,
I don't think they
actually,
sold it.
I was going to say the Gibson Les Paul.
Really?
Okay.
I was going to say the Gibson Les Paul because I know that early in the days of the Gibson Les Paul, it was hard for them to sell any because it was the first entirely solid-bodied electric guitar.
Well, this particular factoid that I found online wasn't specific about brand or even whether it was acoustic or electric. And I kind of figured you guys would get this right off the bat, but I just thought it was a really interesting fact, so I thought I would include it. I mean, that's really
So it's what, the electric guitar?
it's
guitar.
The guitar
guitars,
in
period.
general.
Just guitar in
So
general?
math, math whiz, tell us what the percentage or tell us that percentage that it's increased.
Well, I mean that's 1,000%.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So, Marge, you got that one.
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
But I'm not a
Nice.
guitar player, so that was.
All right. Who was the top-selling album artist of the 1970s, according to Billboard? Now, this is probably
geez.
one where, yeah, we probably all have different ideas about that. The top-selling album artist of the 1970s. Anybody got any ideas?
Well, I'm gonna have to say it would probably have ended up being a rock band.
Is it an individual or a band? Oh, great person with the.
Either.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Stevie Wonder, because it seemed like everybody had something of his.
Ah, yeah, he was very cross-cultural even in the 70s.
Yep.
I feel like Stevie Wonder didn't get that popular until the 80s, though.
All right. Emily, what do you think?
Oh my God, I have no idea.
No guesses?
Let me think for a minute.
Spencer?
I was kicking around a lot of different thoughts in my head and stuff like that, but I'm thinking I'm gonna have to go with Pink Floyd just because Dark Side came out in '73 and was on and was the #1 album until 1983, a full 10 years, and then they like released all these other great pieces of work in those 10 years since its release. So if they're #1 that long with everything else going for them, just gonna have to go with Pink Floyd as a fairly safe hypothesis.
Well, I'll throw Led Zeppelin out there as a guess then, just as far as another rock band that had a ton of album success.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with what Spencer said.
Okay.
He's doing the thinking for me tonight. Way to
Yeah.
go, buddy.
Well, the answer is actually quite surprising because when I wondered about this, I also thought some of the same thoughts that were expressed here. But in fact, it is not a band. It's an individual, and this individual is from England.
Eric Clapton.
No, this individual's
Elton John.
Yeah, it's Elton John.
Elton John
Oh
in
my
the
God.
70s.
I was totally gonna say
I
Billy
should've
Joel, and then I was thinking like Billy Joel or Elton John. No, then it might be a band. What band?
I think Billy Joel was probably, like Jacob said, that was maybe more 80s again. Stevie Wonder was a good guess, though, because a lot of people liked his music because he just kind of managed
Songs
to.
in the Key of Life. I had that
For the
one.
record,
yeah.
I was
I have
not
that
alive
one.
in the 1970s to represent these Billboard charts.
I represent.
I loved Elton John when I was alive in the 70s. And I have to say, I don't regret that because some of his songs, I think, helped to form, he writes really good, well-written songs.
He does write a hell of a well-written song. I do appreciate Elton John.
But after the South Park episode where he was depicted as a bro, I can't look at him the same anymore.
I'll have to watch that.
I did
Yeah, me
not
too. What?
see that. What is that? Do you remember?
The Broadway Bro Down.
Oh my God, I've
It
never
was
seen
a
that.
spoof on music theater, the bro culture, and it was a pretty incredible thing. But this is a music show, so I'll
That sounds like fun. We should definitely look that one up later. All right. What artist became the oldest person, so it's an individual, ever to score a chart-topping single in 1964?
Yeah, it's nice little background music there.
We do, yeah.
It's thinking music.
Thinking music.
1964.
That was the year I was
an
born.
oldest person. Okay.
So I was actually
Oh
alive
my
then.
God.
Yeah, I know I'm old. We know this.
No, that's not what I was saying. Oh
I'm
my God, you.
getting the question. I wasn't even listening to what you were saying.
1964.
I was thinking about how much I have no freaking idea.
Well, because if it were now and it were Tony Bennett, you'd say, well, he's old now, but he wasn't old then.
Exactly. That's
And,
just
you
it. They
know,
were old then.
So who has to
Right,
somebody
right.
who was old, 50 years ago. So. and-
Okay.
I ha-
Do you guys want a hint? I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. The single that hit was actually from a musical that was also presented that year.
1964.
Yes.
Oh Oh my God.
And that musical starred Carol Channing.
Oh, Hello Dolly.
Yes. So who?
So Ethel Merman.
Ethel Merman,
no.
No.
wasn't it?
No.
She wasn't that old at that time either.
Actually, she.
Louis Armstrong.
That's
Oh,
ding, ding,
okay.
ding, ding,
Oh,
ding, ding,
you-
ding.
Wow.
There you go. See,
I have
was
that album.
I was
that
actually
album.
gonna guess a jazz artist. I was thinking, trying to figure out who would have been real old at that time.
I
But
was gonna say Ray Charles.
Yeah.
No, but
he wasn't that
Wasn't
old
that
in the
old at the
60s.
time,
in
though.
the
See, we
He
think
60s.
of
wasn't
him as
old
old
until he
now.
was in the
Yeah.
Pepsi commercials when I was a kid.
So the
Yeah.
62-year-old Armstrong became the oldest act to top the U.S. charts when this song reached #1. 4 years later, Satchmo also became the oldest artist to record UK #1 when "What a Wonderful World" hit the
I
top
love
spot.
that song.
I do too.
I love
Hello-
imitating that song.
A lot of people
Bet
do.
you do it well too.
I do.
Imitating
Lay it
the
on
trumpet
us.
part is.
Let's hear it.
I see skies of blue, red colors right.
You got to do the trumpet part on your kazoo.
Yeah.
Wait.
Wait.
Make sure you don't go over 9
Yes.
seconds.
Yeah.
No, over 8 seconds.
I like the
Oh.
I do like the horn section that goes on the whole
Why?
background of that song. Very
FCC.
very airy, nice piece.
Oh, definitely.
And Hello Dolly was, in fact, first sung by Carol Channing. So this was supposed to actually be just a little demo, as a little kind of a little commercial side thing. And the record company kind of basically talked him into making a deal out of it just to try to promote the musical as well as himself. Honestly, it is my least favorite thing that he has produced, in my opinion. I thought it was kind of a sellout. I mean, he's just a
Yep.
genius, and he's doing this really cheesy pop song, but what are you going to say?
He did some of the
What are
best
you
jazz
gonna
music
say?
in the 1940s, and then all of a sudden, here we go in the mid 60s.
Well, you got to give the guy credit for his stamina.
Hey, and you got to eat too.
yeah,
Yep.
that's
Sometimes you make music you don't love.
Yeah, I'd rather make, music that wasn't my best, I think, than do anything else I do for a job.
true. I hear you. So, one more question. What legendary soul singer wrecked his Corvette the first time he drove it?
Oh, man.
Marvin Gaye.
No? I'm going to give you a
Legendary soul
hint.
singer.
I'm dedicating this question to Mr. Freddie Lee Peterson.
I was gonna go with James Brown already, but you
Yeah.
pushed me over the
No,
edge.
no,
Well,
you're
how
going-
about,
no, you're going the wrong
How
way
about
with this.
going the
you know?
wrong
How
way?
about
Yep.
Isaac Hayes?
No.
Curtis Mayfield.
No. Why? What do? Okay.
Legendary soul
What do we always tease Freddie about, and then he turns around and teases us about other things?
Oh, Ray Charles?
Sounds like
Yes,
Be-
Ray
being
Charles.
old?
No, being blind.
Ray Charles. Oh.
somebody
You
gave him a
guys.
Corvette.
Yes.
I
And
would never.
The other
tease-
day, Freddie proudly announced that he was on a scooter. That he had been riding a scooter, and we're like, "What person let you go riding around the neighborhood on a scooter?"
Yeah.
It's okay. He's having an end of life crisis.
Well,
Well,
I
on the
think
scooter-
he's kind of in the
Just
middle.
kidding.
I think he's kind of in the middle.
River West
Not if he's
Turn.
on a scooter.
Kidding, I'm just kidding.
So if you see our guitar player from the Freddie Lee Band on a motor vehicle, get off the streets.
Lock up
run.
your children.
Get off the sidewalk.
Really. Alrighty, so I think that's our conclusion of our quiz questions for the day. And
That was entertaining.
now I would like to introduce our guest and kind of have her share what her music is about. Marge Eisman, why don't you tell the audience what you do?
Okay, what do I do? Let's see. I've always sung, I've always played piano, and I've always been a creative person. So I started writing music with absolutely no thought of becoming a singer-songwriter, or even that there was a genre that I would even ever fit into, because I really started by being a teacher and participating in things, and then sometimes as a teacher, and now not just of children but of adults also, I would find myself in a position where the way to kind of consolidate what we were talking about would be to create a song that just sort of brought it all together. So sometimes that would sound like a chant, sometimes that would sound like the show tunes that I loved growing up. When I was in my early 20s, very early 20s, one of my first jobs out of college, I worked at a very nice hotel in Chicago, the Mayfair Regent. And there was a legendary jazz pianist named Art Hodis, who was playing in the lobby lounge of the Mayfair Regent Hotel. The Mayfair Regent's no more a hotel, so it doesn't matter. I'm not giving them a plug for anything. They're long gone. But in 1980-81, when I was there, I loved where I worked. It was so beautiful. And I wrote this great song I wrote like a jingle for them. They never used it, but it stuck in my mind. I can sing it for you now. I mean, it was one of those things that I realized that I could take something that I cared about and I could craft a melody.
Right.
And put the words and music together. Do you want me to sing it? Do you want to hear a little bit?
That'd be great.
Okay.
Let's get a sample.
Meet me at the Mayfair, darling. Meet me about 8. I'm longing to hear Art Hodis. Meet me about 8. And it was just this very chill, jazzy, and I still, it's like I keep thinking either it's going to go into some future to be written musical show that I create out of my stuff, or I'm going to rewrite the lyrics and use that melody again because
Sure.
it's good.
I could so see like a whole like big huge
Kick chorus
orchestra, a huge orchestra backing you up, and
I do have like fantasies of being one of those women in the great outfits and Sarah Vaughan,
Grandeur.
out there singing. So
Just needs a big band and a chorus line.
right, and sometimes you don't have that. I now have a son who plays bass, Jacob, a son who plays guitar, John, and Zach is talking about learning to play drums. So I'm like, oh, the bus,
Family
the bus,
band.
the family
She's gonna get the family
band.
Actually, the
And
family
Julie
band is
would-
already trademarked by Robert Randolph.
Okay, well, I'm just going to figure it out, guys. Anyway, so I kept going, and then in 2000, maybe in 99 or 2000, I was on my way to a bar mitzvah and in Miami, and I was asked to bring something, a story or a photograph or something about the bar mitzvah boy to share the Friday night before. It was like the family gets together and everybody tells something. And I was going to tell a story about how he had this great lisp, and when he was a 3-year-old, he told me, I came into his house and I was going to, when it was time to leave, he said, "You can't. There's an invisible twap." I was going to, humiliate this poor kid with this story about the twap. And I was on the airplane on the way, and a whole song at 35,000 feet came into my head, including a line in Hebrew that was more complicated Hebrew than I thought I knew.
oh wow.
So now we're talking a very interesting problem. I got off the plane, I went to the house I was staying at, and they had a piano. I sat down at the piano and I played it like I'd learned this song years ago. And they were like, "Wow, where'd you learn that?" I said, I just wrote it. It was the first time I realized that my hands would just go where the chords took them.
Sure.
That I wasn't reading music, I was making
You
music.
knew what needed to go where
Right.
to make it happen. Yeah.
Right. It turns out it's a C and G song with a C and G7.
Let me
and
guess,
one
it has an
chord.
F or a D somewhere?
It has an
Yeah.
F, Jacob. One F. But this song I sang in public for the first time that night, and I've sung it thousands of times since.
That is fantastic.
So that's called Sing Praises, and thousands of kids sing it at camps. And I put it on both CDs that I've done. Once
Should we
because
listen to it?
Yeah, let's do that.
listen to it.
It's
Actually,
track
you know what?
4.
I did not put all of the tracks on here like I intended to. What I did put on here was Words from the Heart.
Okay.
And
well, we
I
talked
put-
about that one. So it follows in the story because
Okay.
Sing Praises I can play for us. in a
That's
little
what I
bit.
was thinking. You were going to play a lot of them. So
Oh, absolutely. Words from the Heart is a song that I wrote for my twin sons for their B'nai Mitzvah, even more complicated Hebrew, because I knew that they would never remember if I was just talking.
right.
But if I sang it to them, they would hear it again. And then if I recorded it, then they'd really hear it again. So this is actually my ethical will in song.
okay.
And playing on it are the amazing Fred Simon from Chicago and James Finlayson, Milwaukee's fine percussionist.
yes, I've met
Of One
him.
Drum and
Of One
others.
Drum and just amazing talent.
So we are going to listen to Words from the Heart by Marge Eisman on riverwestradio.com.
My eyes filling up with tears. I think of all my hopes and fears, and what I want to say to you. This song is my prayer to words that come from the heart and to the heart. The Talmud tells us words which come from the heart and to the heart. I've held you close, then let you go. The shoreline for your ebb and flow. My love is like your safety net, always there with no regrets. Words that come from the heart and to the heart. Words that come from the heart and to the heart. Smile at people, be kind, take the time to care. Have Shabbat guests learn to cook, travel everywhere. Choose good friends and be a mensch. Celebrate each day. Be amazed at each new spring. Don't forget to play. Look at the people here today. They'll help you all along your way. You do belong, you have a role in making the broken whole. Words that come from the heart and to the heart. Gotta know that words that come from the heart and to the heart. I really hope that these words, which come from my heart, enter your hearts.
Words from the Heart by Marge Eisman on riverwestradio.com. And I have to say, obviously, some of this must have sank in because Jacob is kind and caring, and he has learned how to cook.
See?
Wow.
Way to go, Jacob.
Good job.
So, could you add another line in your song about being a smartass?
That's a
Hey.
different song.
That would really fit Jacob.
Actually, there's another song that's on this album. My first album was 8 songs, and it was about 25 minutes long, and it was actually like a very expensive business card. But it got me a lot of gigs. People loved it. People loved the artwork on it. It was by Bruce David. It was beautiful. And the songs were good. They still hold up. I use most of them still to this day. But one of the most interesting things was having, when I had a chance to do this one, I recorded this in 2005, and the CD is called Enduring One. And
Where can this be purchased? Do you have
you can get it
ability?
on iTunes.
You
get
can.
it,
Awesome.
Yep. In fact, I just got you can get it from CD Baby as
Oh.
a hard copy CD.
That's great.
Or you can contact Jacob. I can make sure he gets some too.
right, right. So awesome. See,
Yeah,
you,
CD Baby just sent me a check. They're
That's
like,
great.
People are downloading my music from iTunes and Rhapsody, playing it on radio stations. So cool.
That's fantastic.
I'm game.
That's great. So go ahead and play something for us. What do you
So
think you're
I was
going
going
to
to actually go back and play
Play
the one
that
I was
song.
telling you
Okay,
that
good,
I
good.
did before. Now, the thing is that I kind of need you to participate. This is a call and response song. So
All right.
those of you who are sitting here, you're just going to have to keep going. For you, Spencer and Julie, whose Hebrew is probably not as good as Jacob's. Mine might not be as good as
Wow,
Jacob's.
my Hebrew is fantastic. What are you trying to say?
Okay, I need to teach you the last line. You can have the words in front of you, though. They're on the liner notes.
But reading Hebrew to English transliterations is
Yeah,
like
well, it's better than
scratching
nothing,
your nails on a
Jacob.
chalkboard.
So lay it
Okay.
on us. What are
All
we
right,
supposed
it's
to
called
say?
Shiru Ladonai,
Shiru Ladunai.
which means
Shiru Ladunai.
yeah, it means let's sing to God, and it's a masculine God name. Just remember that. Shirat HaShechina.
Shirat Shachanina.
HaShechina.
Shachel.
HaShechina.
Shalechina.
Oh, we're in big trouble.
you're getting
you know
close,
what? I'll
but-
sing it. You'll sing it after me. It'll be okay.
Okay.
We'll
And-
try.
The throat noise is the hardest part.
You know what? It's a lot like Bach. You can say Johann Sebastian Bach.
Yeah.
It is
Okay.
the same noise, but throwing it
Same.
in it's a way more
Yeah.
guttural sound. Shekhinah is not a very
No,
nice.
No,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not.
it's-
But it's a beautiful name, a feminine name of God, and it means God's indwelling presence.
You know, Stephen Colbert said the other day on his show that Hebrew sounds like angels with throat cancer speaking.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
So I'm gonna.
Where is it on the? On
It's song number 4.
okay.
And I know this because when I go visit kindergarten classrooms where they listen to my music, they get to push whatever button on my arm they want. And they love this song, so they push button 4, which is about midway down
All righty.
the play button.
Super.
Okay, so this is, I play baritone uke, and here we go. Sing praises, sing to the one whose sukkah of peace shelters everyone. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Shiru Ladonai, Shirat Shechina. Would you like to try that with me? Or is that enough of that song for you?
I just found where it actually
Technically,
was.
technically, isn't the call and response part all in English?
The call and response part is all in English,
Well,
Jacob.
let's do it that way.
Okay. Do you want to sing a song? Yes, we want to sing a song. Good. Sing a blessing song with me.
Sing a blessing song with you.
We reach within to pray.
Reach within to pray.
To connect our souls to God today.
Connect our souls to God today.
And sing praises. Sing to the one whose sukkah of peace shelters everyone. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Shiru Ladonai, Shirat Shechina. You know what? I'm going to call it quits there because I'm thinking there's more to say. Enough. You get the idea. You get the idea. And
Yeah.
and then Safta, Jacob's grandma,
Yes.
and my darling stepmother taught me how to sign language it. interpret it.
Yes.
So
You can do it in three
but
languages.
I can't sing, sign, and pray all at the same play
Play.
all at the same time. I've learned this. I have to put something down. Something's got to go.
That's really fantastic, though.
Yeah.
That you have that third, like Emily's saying, you could do three,
Yeah.
three languages.
Three
But
languages.
signing was the right choice to exclude on the radio.
Thank you, Jacob.
We'll play that for you right now, folks.
Okay, here it is.
Yep, they're waving their hands and they're doing the hallelujahs.
I even know how to do American Sign Language on the radio.
Yes, yes, but it's really not that interesting.
Can you play something else for us?
Yeah, let's think what I was doing. You know, you actually were going to play something else that
I would really like to
Okay.
play. Yeah.
So I'm going to let you do this.
Okay.
I can't play it on the ukulele, but I'll play you
Definitely
something
not.
in a minute that I've also been writing recently. But what I was starting to say is in 2005, I recorded a second CD
Right.
called Enduring One, and this is the title track from that. And this is actually the only piece on this album that I did not sing, but I did play the piano.
I love this composition. It's very, very beautiful. Did you want to set up
Sure.
what it's about?
Sure. In 2005, in January, I woke to a tragedy. We all woke to a tragedy. Jacob's next youngest brother, who we called Baki, had died in his sleep in an absolutely bizarre family. It turned out he had a familial heart rhythm problem, but we didn't know.
Right.
And he died in his sleep. And by April, when I recorded this piece of music, was only about 3 months after he'd passed away, and I had written this. I was playing music as a way to soothe my own soul.
Yes.
And so this was, I had composed it, I had lyrics, I had an open microphone in front of me, and I thought I'd be able to sing it, and this is what happened instead.
Okay. The song is called Enduring One. Enduring One by Marge Eisman on riverwestradio.com. Absolutely haunting, beautiful melody. Absolutely.
Thank you. So there were lyrics, and I actually put them in the liner notes. Baki's name was made up by Jacob or Jana or both, when I was pregnant, I said, you need a name that starts with B and is neither male nor female because we didn't know.
Right.
And they made it up. Do you remember this?
I have a vague recollection of it. I mean, we had to have been 3 years old, and we were just making up gibberish words to my dad laughing hysterically, and we eventually decided on one we both kind of liked, and they were like, all right, whatever,
Yeah.
and it just stuck.
They had other friends named Godi, Sisa, and Doot.
And Sudi, and a bunch of random names. We were very good at gibberish.
Yes. So they made up Baki, and by the time Baki was born, it was like the Ba was for my mother Barbara and Andy's aunt Barbara, who had both died of cancer when the
Right.
twins were 2 or 3, and then the key was like the life force in Aikido, balance. So it was like he had this great name before he was born. And
His
when
real
he-
name was Benjamin. Right?
Yeah, but no one ever called
Right.
him Benjamin. We all called him Baki. And when he died, my rabbi Googled Baki. And it turns out that Baki is one of the 99 beautiful names of God in the Quran. And it means
Wow.
enduring one.
Oh, for heaven's
So
sake.
that's how the CD.
It's also a Hebrew slang term for expert.
Yes. Yes. So the words that went with that are one more breath and one more step, one more second, one more moment, one more. Oh, I can't even read it anymore. But you could feel the pulse.
Do you want me to read it?
Sure, but you can feel the pulse of what I was trying to get to in the music. It's in the upper left, on the other page. Nope, where Baki's picture is.
One more breath and one more step. One more second, one more moment. One more hour, then one more day. One more hug, one more tear. Enduring one, a name of God, expert swing and graceful stride. Expressive eyes, soft tan skin. Gentle soul, suddenly not here. Love lives on and on and on. True love never dies. Love lives on in our stories and our lives.
And I will say that even 7 years later, his legacy endures.
Right. And this idea of writing this haunting piece that ended up without a melody line, and I think it actually works better as a poem and a composition because it has a more of a austere quality as just a composition, and then it lets the lyrics be more. Without a melody, the lyrics are words that one can internalize a little more personally. I don't know how to explain that, but it not being sung, but just read by the viewer, by the person experiencing the piece. I think that it just accompanies that what you're playing so well. I think to put a melody on it would ruin that.
Right.
Yeah, it's
That
kind of
mood.
like the difference between when you're reading a quote from somebody in a novel, you can sort of determine how you think that person's going to hear, whereas you see it in a movie and now that they already have a voice, and it may be nothing like what you were imagining when you were reading.
That's what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually ended up not in 2005, but over the last few years, I wrote a song about Baki, but it never really made it into fruition either. I still have it written down. It was just a pretty simple 12-bar blues, but yeah, again, it was pretty hard to try and lay down on anything. So
It's both difficult to mourn and grieve through composition and writing music, and soothing. And it's difficult because then that moment of pain lives on.
Right.
But it's soothing because then that moment of pain lives on.
Well, the way I looked at it, I wrote 2 pieces between the time he died and the time I recorded this CD. And there was something redemptive about the process of writing and about how hopeful it is that you can smile again. that even after something that painful as
Right.
losing a child, there are times when you can come back and, you know, have a smile in your voice or sing a happy song or, you know, there are these times that are you think you can't get through and then you do. And so even that piece, that composition ends, yes, it's minor, but there are some moments of like sun coming through clouds.
I hear that. Absolutely. You know what I think of when I hear this piano piece? I think of the tree in the soccer field.
Yeah. That
That's-
his friends
Over at
planted.
Spectre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I ride my bike around there a lot, and I always see it. I always ride by it when I can. That image is kind of embodied in the music to
Yeah.
me, just to me personally.
Yeah. So the other piece that I wrote is one. It's I can't even remember the names of my own songs anymore. I'm sorry. It's called "We're in Each Other's Lives," and it features Jesse Gooten playing a screaming electric guitar riff. I mean, it's completely different. We wrote it as we played it like an '80s rock anthem. So, you know, if you're gonna have, you know, songs to commemorate somebody, you should have an '80s rock anthem.
Oh,
right?
It's,
definitely.
but it's really not 80s. It's a la 1970s Brian May. It's
Oh,
not even.
okay. See, I don't even know.
It totally sounds like a part of a Queen song.
But you know, I recorded this over at Walls Have Ears, and Bill Stace was, you know, just great. And I had Fred Simon come in from Chicago, and we did 7 tracks in 6 hours,
Wow.
Damn.
canned. We did it. We had the performance space, you know, the theater, the old Broadway theater, or the old Goodman Theater on Oakland Avenue. I don't know what you call it. The Miramar.
Miramar.
Yep.
The Miramar. My family calls it the old Goodman Theater. You know, that's how long we were Milwaukeeans. And so we came in and we just put down song. He's like, "What do you got? What do you got? Can you live with this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I could. You know, I could fix a vocal here or there, but I can do that later." And then I invited friends to come in after dinner, and they came in and they got to play. They got to sing on the CD. They didn't know they were coming to sing. They thought they were just coming to watch. So, you know, it was great fun. And for me, I don't like to stand on a stage and sing to people. I like to sing with people. And I like music to be something that is engaging. I'm not above, I don't want to be preachy with my music, but I don't mind reaching people. Not at all.
Well, there's a fine line between a lead singer and a song leader.
Right. Right. And I'm not,
way to
you know, John is a great song leader. Your twin, I mean, he can get people singing like nobody's business. I tend to do things where I get to use my music in service of whatever it is that's going on.
Right, right.
So,
Well, that's, I mean, your connections are not just, like you said, your intention is not to entertain, but you are trying to, in a lot of your songs, sort of reach people and communicate to them what your values are and how you see things so that they can maybe look inside that and gain from it and grow from it.
yeah, absolutely. So, there's one that is, so you have no way to play music from the CD.
I
Just-
I
Do you
I
have
only
it
have
on,
so much
I
What
have it on
space.
my
device?
iPad.
Oh, if you have it on your iPad, I can play it.
Just plug in. All right.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah, I only have
pretty
so
neat
much
gift.
space on the iPod, so I didn't put the whole album on there because I figured you'd play a bunch of stuff live.
Oh yeah, except you know, live I'm not as much fun as I am here.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah, it's okay. I
Will you
want
do
to-
another one live?
No, because I really want you to hear Pressure Cooker Blues. It's an all English
Okay.
one, and just there's a plug-in at
And we
under
are
Spencer's
switching
finger.
devices.
High tech.
High tech. There we go. So the name of the song, once again, is Pressure Cooker Blues on riverwestradio.com.
And this is featuring Lil Rev,
Oh, okay. All right.
Milwaukee's own. Sweet.
And I am not an iPad owner, so I have pressed the line that says Pressure Cooker Blues, and I have not succeeded in getting it to play.
All right. Can I have it back?
Yes.
In the
You
meantime.
can operate this while we pass it down there. I just want to
Okay.
mention that we have Marge Eisman in the studio. She's a singer-songwriter, and
Yeah, it's ready to go as soon as you.
there we go. We are doing something new. We got the iPad. We are rocking the iPad here, and since I don't own one, I'm sort of waiting for them to get it to happen, which is fine. We're broadcasting from the River West Film and Video Store on Center Street this evening. Lovely, beautiful evening in the beautiful River West area, and
No. All right.
we are
All right. We're gonna do something else then.
we are not being successful.
Not gonna be successful at playing.
I think that perhaps if you'd play something live, we could try to make it happen.
So, I often write things in C because,
I nodded when you looked at me and said that, but I have no idea what that means. I just play the
Okay.
drums.
right. Okay, well, C is just very easy for people who play the piano because it means there are no sharps and flats. All the
There
white,
you go.
all the white keys.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, so I'm one of those. But I started playing something, and it was as simple as that other little song I played before. And then I wanted to record it, and Jacob and Jana and our drummer were like, that's just too sweet sounding, so we have to go with something else. So instead, they ended up persuading me to do it like this. So the Hebrew of this, again, I'm sorry to keep using a language that isn't familiar to everyone, but
That's fine.
I do this anyway. The Hebrew of it means, again, let's sing a new song to God. And here we go. It's called Shiru Shir. Let's sing. Shiru, shiru, shir. Shiru, shiru, l'Adonai. Shiru, shiru, shir. Shiru, shir, chadash. Shiru, shiru, shir. Shiru, shiru, l'Adonai. Shiru, shiru, shir. Shiru, shir, chadash. Mora'ani lefanecha ruacha v'kahayam. Mora'ani lefanecha ruacha v'kahayam. שחזרת בי נשמתי בך רבה אמונתך שירו שירו שיר שירו שירו לאדוני שירו שירו שיר שירו שיר חדש.
Yeah, right on. Live in the studio, Marge Eisman. We like everything around here. So
good.
we've had everything, all kinds of music on. We have not had any country music on, and you were so generous to have purchased a Whiskey Bells CD. I was not able to go to the CD release because I couldn't make it.
A hoot.
And so I appreciate that. That will be the first time then we will play country on the show next week.
Awesome.
So we like everything. We play everything on this show. And Hebrew's good.
Okay,
I don't
Hebrew
quite
folk.
understand it, but it's like this is a good thing.
The second part of it was thanking God for giving me back my soul every morning. There's a great teaching by Reb Nachman of Bratslav. He was a manic depressive who overcame through basically willpower and stories and laughter, and he died at age 34, but he was an amazing guy. And there are still followers of his today. He died in like the 1800s. And he had 8 keys of happiness. And so this is another one that I'm working on now, although I'm not even sure I have it all together yet. But he had 8 keys of happiness, and the first thing he said, the first key of happiness is to smile.
Yeah.
And there's so many people who are down that you could actually be saving someone's life just by smiling at them.
Wow.
And the second key is to always sing a happy song.
Oh, I'm really deficient in that
Yeah,
key.
yeah.
I have issues with not
You're-
being
you're
able
the-
to comply with key 2. we're laughing because I played a show at the Public House last week, which was a benefit for the Holton Street Children's and Families Association, and I mean, I have my own style. I do what I do, and the gal who was on before me, Roxy Bean, otherwise known as Jamila, she is awesome. She is very upbeat. She can take a song I can't stand and turn it into something I like. She does "Oops, I Did It Again," and I actually like hearing it coming out of her.
It's not what you think it's gonna be.
Right.
It's
She
not
just
what you
really
think it's
well. She went on before me, and I'm like, I turned to Emily. I'm like, you do recall that all of my songs are kind of morose and poetic and.
But I like that stuff. It makes me smile.
I know,
Maybe
but
I'm
the
just
rest,
deranged.
the rest of the audience, I thought, I wish they would have kind of switched this around and have me go on before her.
You were worried about that all night,
Fine.
and they loved us. We
I'm
were a
just,
hit.
I'm just observing that key 2 is something that probably I could stand to work on. So,
My
Well-
question is, what do you guys have against Britney Spears?
okay,
Come on.
what's key 3?
Look for the good in everyone.
Even Britney Spears.
Yeah, exactly. And key
She's-
4 is look for the good in yourself.
Oh.
Even when it's hard to look sometimes, but find the good things that you do and take joy in them.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I made it into a song because otherwise I would never remember it.
Right.
So, sing a little happy song and smile, just smile. Sing a little happy song and smile all the while. Look for the good in others even when it's hard to find. Look for the good in you, then let it shine. And the first 2 keys can be sung against the third and fourth ones. And then you want to keep going?
Yeah.
Because
Lay it on us.
then Reb Nachman said, above all, don't despair. If you think you can damage, believe you can repair. Sing a little happy song and smile, just smile. Sing a little happy song and smile all the while. Look for the good in others, even if it's hard to find. Look for the good in you, then let it shine. And there are 3 more keys of happiness, and those I haven't quite all learned. But the last ones are that you should have a little walk and talk with God, find out why you're here. And the last 2 are to bring peace by giving to charity, and telling the truth. And that
Yeah.
giving something and telling the truth both make you happy.
All
So
right.
when I do my next CD, there will be a fully fledged song, goofy as it may sound, that will teach Reb Nachman's 8 keys of happiness.
You know, these 8 keys of happiness, I like them. And they sound a little familiar because a lot of what I'm hearing in those keys I hear in the Buddhist.
Yep, sounds like Eastern philosophy to me.
It does.
Well, I want you to know that I have a friend named Terry Lieberstein who wrote a song with a great line in it. And she says, all the wise ones of the ages seem to say the same thing.
Uh-huh.
It's true.
Poets, teachers, and sages.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they tell you the truth that the heart brings.
You know, these are such simple concepts, and I spend a lot of time. In fact, honestly, going full circle to the other topic, part of the reason I write these morose, brooding songs is because people don't listen to the keys. They don't listen to these 8 keys or the 10 Commandments or I don't have a religious background. I am not religious, but there's so much wisdom in all of these different philosophies and religions. If you want to look at religion just as a philosophy, you know, I think the teachings of Christ is just killer. Wow, he had some really awesome things to say.
I hate to tell you this, or maybe I don't, but you know, he was raised as a Jew, so he's teaching a lot of the same things that I teach.
Well,
Look for
sure
the
he
good
is.
in him.
Yes, look for the good in others.
So I guess that's the thing, you know, I get frustrated because people don't understand that the reason that all of these sages and teachers and wise people through the ages keep saying the same thing is because they're true.
Right. They're capital T truth, even when the parable around them might not be literally true
Correct.
or historically true. And there's a big difference there. Sometimes people get caught up in what they think the story is, and they haven't really mined for the truth of
Right.
of the conversation.
Right.
So I have a completely different thing. I don't know how much more time we have, but
we have time for one more
Okay.
song. Yeah.
so this one I'm going to do another a cappella because I can't play as well as I'd like. I play well enough to accompany myself.
I
but
think you
wrote-
sound fine, but
Okay. Well, I'm sitting next to Emily, who's like really, really good at guitar. And I'm,
I don't know
feel
how to
like
play
I'm
the
kind of a-
uke though.
there you
Yeah,
go.
can
there
do
you go. It's a
something I can't
baritone
do.
uke. So I wrote a song for my dad and stepmom for their 18th anniversary, and I just would love to sing you at least the beginning of it because this is a completely different style. Again, I really care that the mode that I'm singing fits the lyrics, fits everything. So this is what I decided to write for my parents, and it's called The Landscape of Life. We walk along, hand in hand, on city streets, in foreign lands. The path is paved with our memories. Our friends witness like the trees. The water flows as rain then tears. Sadness grows, recedes, and reappears. And through it all, we stayed in the now, sparkling with joy anyhow. We'll walk from here to there on our journey, from now to then, in love forevermore. Notice all the detours and signs, a path of love through the landscape of life.
Nice.
Good stuff.
You just have a really good gift for shaping a melody.
Thank you.
Your melodies fit really naturally with your words. It's very organic. Love it. Well, we've been interviewing and listening to and talking with Marge Eisman. And we've got one more fun thing before we end the show. Our famous, fabulous quiz, Wealth or Fame.
Fame.
And in this quiz, I am going to name 4 artists and a song that they made famous. And you are to select the artist who actually did write the song that became famous. So here we are. Here are the choices. The Bangles, Manic Monday. Patsy Cline, Crazy. Neil Diamond, I'm a Believer. Joan Osborne, One of Us. Who wants to go first? Which one of those did the person
Neil Diamond
actually
wrote
write?
I'm a Believer.
Okay.
Neil Diamond's the only one I really recognize out of
Are you
these.
kidding? Patsy Cline's a great country artist.
Yeah,
I'm learning
that
to love
must
my
be
country.
that
Come on,
must be
man.
why.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a
So Marge is selecting the Neil Diamond as the authentic, written by the artist who made it famous.
Oh, who made it famous? Because no, the Monkees made that.
No, it's who wrote the song is what we're asking.
Oh.
He also recorded
He also
it.
recorded
okay.
it.
Yeah. So, you think that's the the right pairing. Emily?
Now, I think that that's a trick question because I think that the Monkees are the ones that made that song famous. And I know that Neil Diamond recorded that, and I know that he did a famous, what you would consider a famous version, but I think that's a tricky one there.
All right.
I'm going to go with the Joan Osborne tune because I think back in the day I saw a behind the music or something of hers, and I think I remember that she wrote most or all of the songs on that particular album.
All right. Spencer?
Wow. Well, I'm sure I would recognize any of these songs if I actually heard them again, but I can't think of any of these
Okay.
other than the Neil Diamond
All
one.
right, let's start with the Bangles. Ready? It's just another manic Monday.
I wish it was Sunday.
Oh, that's the 8 seconds.
That's it. That's
Okay,
it.
that's all you get.
Uh,
I'm crazy.
I'm crazy for feeling so
lonely. All right.
I can't hear anyone sing that without hearing it in Freddie's voice.
And then
Okay.
a s-
You gotta let me do my Joan Osborne. This I'll tell you about her in a
right.
second. What if God were one of us? Okay.
all right, I can recognize that song,
what about
but
I'm
honestly,
a Believer?
When I saw your face, now I'm a believer. Okay. I love our reenactments. They're so great. Okay. So what's your choice?
I'm gonna go with the Bangles wrote Manic Monday because I don't know.
You know, for variety, I'm going to go with the Patsy Cline. So this way, only one of us can be right.
Well, let's go backwards. The Bangles did not write Manic Monday. Prince wrote Manic Monday in
Prince is
1984
such a genius.
Yeah,
and that's
he
the
really
year I
is.
was born.
and recorded it as a duet for the band Apollonia. However, he eventually pulled the song. He was going to record it and he pulled it. 2 years later, he offered the singles to the Bangles under the pseudonym Christopher, a character he played in the film Under the Cherry Moon. It was rumored by various writers that after Prince listened to the band's 1984 debut album, he gave the song to Bangles lead singer Susanna Huffs so that in return she would give him attention. Now, that's just a
Attention?
rumor. It says here that she'd sleep with him, okay?
Oh.
That kind of attention.
That's
That
what
kind
you
of
meant.
attention. Okay, Willie Nelson.
go on.
All right, let's go to one of us, okay? No, actually, Joan Osborne didn't write that, and I thought she did. I want to mention real quick, Joan Osborne is a killer singer.
Yeah, she
So
is.
my making fun of her singing that song is because why, Joan? Why? I just couldn't stand that song, and I thought she was a terrible singer until I saw the Funk Brothers movie, which is called Standing in the Shadow
Right.
of Motown,
That's
and
where I
she
discovered.
gets up there. I'm like, Joan Osborne, what the heck is she doing up there? And she starts belting out, and she's amazing.
She's great, yeah. She's secretly great.
I don't
Any
get
of her,
that.
pick up something live of hers because I never knew that until Charlie showed me.
So who wrote Crazy, guys? Who wrote that? Not Patsy Cline.
You just
Yeah, you-
Willie
learned
Nelson.
it.
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson. Okay. So fine. So that means Marge. Ding 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 ding. Our guest has won. Yes, Neil Diamond did
Marge.
do I'm a Believer. So
You're
thanks
spot on
again,
with the quizzes.
Emily,
Guitar,
Marge, Spencer, and Jacob for another fabulous episode of Compose Yourself with Julie Brandenburg. You can podcast this and subscribe to this episode by getting on iTunes. We are going to go out with a song by Northless. Have a great week. The song is called Tears from Crime.